Alright YouTube, what's up? Today's kind of an exciting day. My air filter for my cold air intake finally got here. It's right here. Just screwing with you, this is it actually. So I was gonna get a K&N, but they kind of screwed me and they just kept pushing the order out, and I tried they didn't want to ship a filter for whatever reason. So I was going to do a K&N, but instead I'm doing this Spectre filter, which is supposedly pretty good. So I already made all the piping. I think I showed you in a previous video, but this is what it looks like. So here's the piping. I welded this all myself. And then I've got, I guess that's that same brand actually, Spectre. This coupler goes onto the mass airflow sensor. And the only thing I'm not so sure about is this air filter is actually a little bit bigger in size than the K&N was going to be. So I'm hoping I'll have enough space to fit this. Alright, so the thing's going to come right down here, and the air filter is going to sit down in here. This is my concern where the battery might be in the way. There's still a fair amount of space down here, you can't really see. But if I have to, I'll try to slide the battery over some. The first thing I gotta do is just remove the airbox. I gotta take out all these. Okay, so actually before I do all that, I'm gonna install this little breather line. I just unhooked it from down there, or this is where it goes to. And I got this weird plastic thing. I don't even remember what this was called. I'm not an air piece, but tube with a hole in it is what it's gonna be. So this came out of here, went right into there, and this is what went into the airbox. This tube fits right in there like that. So I think if I throw a hose clamp on it, like that, it'll hold good. If I just cut this stuff off. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Alright, so that's that. I didn't really need to tighten this too much to make it so it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Okay, so I haven't decided on this yet, but I'm probably going to cut this back a little bit just so this thing's not floating way out there like that. I'm just going to see. I'm going to see what it looks like when I have the whole air box and the other one in first. Probably just going to stick this in like that for right now. Okay, so I removed the 2 screws to go in there. The back one's a little bit of a challenge, but you can still get it with a regular screwdriver. This is what they look like. Now I'm going to go on to taking all these out. That we've got the first screw out, almost, and now it's out. Okay, I think there used to be a screw back in there, kind of back behind that, but I could be completely wrong. I've taken this air filter out before, and if there was one, I know I did not put it back in because it's just a harness. I didn't feel like going through all that effort to get that bolt back in when I knew I was going to take it out. So I got to remove this screw and that screw to actually access the filter that's in here. It should just pop right out from there. You're also going to want to remove the mass airflow sensor first. It's a little bit of a pain if I remember correctly, but it just pretty much just pops right out. Alright, so that's off and the air filter is exposed. And yeah, it's disgusting. Definitely would have been time for just a new regular filter either way. Maybe we're not. I don't know. Seems to be still attached to something, but it could be just this. No, I'm getting in my way. Okay, so I got it out. I just had to muscle it out a little bit. That was the only other bolt was up in there, and it comes out. You got to wrestle it a little bit, but it's not too wide. It'll come out. Oh, I guess there was another one down in here, and I just pulled it right through the grommet. So I guess I'll take that off too. And then there's this little hose thing that I think there was a. You can see past all my wires. I think there was a screw on that, and that would be the same as the one up here from the vacuum line, same size, so that would be a 10 mil too. But again, I didn't put all the screws back last time because I knew I was going to be taking this out soon. These are just screws that hold it in. They don't affect anything that works. So then this thing just pops right out. Okay, so I did have to remove the battery. I took just all the plastic stuff off. It was all just clipped on. It was a little strange to get off, but I got it. And even with the whole battery cover out of there, the filter still doesn't quite fit. First I'm going to see if I can just remove this whole thing, still 10 millimeters, and just see if I can, you know, re-drill out some holes or something just to slide it over some or make some kind of bracket. And if I could do that, that'd be perfect. Okay, so I pulled the battery holster, whatever the hell you want to call this thing. I pulled that out, just 4 screws, and then I'm going to shift it over. So these were where these 2 screws originally went, and where these 2 ones. So into those 2 holes is where these 2 are going to go. And then everything's just going to sit shifted over. I'm hoping that's going to work. If not, I'll figure something out. Alright, so I think that's going to work. I got those 2 bolts in. Now there's a ton of space over here. Alright, so I just dropped the battery back in place. I haven't attached any of the wires yet. It feels pretty sturdy. I'm not worried about it. This is kind of the main piece of the thing. It just kind of like tucks around back. Alright, so I actually took the battery back out and clipped this in. Now I'm going to drop the battery in there. The only weird part is these wires aren't going to go right in this. This back part was kind of a tray for these wires. You see how it's... Yeah, you see how this is indented right here? Like it goes straight down. That's how those wires came up, and there was this little plastic cover went on the back of that. I think it just kind of protected these, but they're going to run up the side kind of like that, and that's going to just have to be how it is. Okay, so I hooked up the positive lead, got the battery back in there, and because these wires, you know, aren't designed to be moved, there's no real reason they would have made them, you know, extra long from the factory. So that's as far as they're willing to move. So that means that this big battery cover probably is not going to be able to go back on, because this square opening is the top of this fuse box right here. So anyway, that's how we're going to leave it right now. I'm not going to put the cover back on. It looks a little goofy, but maybe I'll take care of that another day. Right now I just want to get the intake hooked up before it starts to get dark. Maybe you try to run it down here so it's out of the way, this little sub wire. I did some work on that. That'll be coming up in a video eventually. It was just a little bit of wiring stuff, and I'm going to be doing a whole bunch more. So that'll be later on down the road. I'm going to try to throw this cold air intake in. Oh yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. The battery is fine there with this cover that goes all the way around it. It's really locked in there. It can't go very far. So that's enough for me to call it good. Now it's time for the exciting part. I'm going to throw the coupler on there and throw the pipe in and see what it looks like. Yeah, so now it's time for the moment of truth. See if it fits. There's a good chance it's too long, so I might have to lop this down a little bit, but see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what I was thinking. I made this thing way too long. And this air filter still almost doesn't fit with all this room in here. But I kind of want it to sit like that. I might actually have to lop it back almost all the way to here. I'll probably lop it at this one first. I actually did test this before, and with the battery the way it used to be, it used to just kind of slide in there. But I'm going to cut this right at the weld, maybe a little before it. And that should be good. And now I'm just going to file this down and grind it down. Yeah, I'm going to try to screw it all together now. Alright, so it's looking like it's going to fit. I got this first hose clamp on. I'll tighten the one on the actual filter. Now I just got to bring this one up and tighten that on, and it should be good from there. Then I just got to screw that in, connect the negative on the battery, and then fire it up and see how it sounds. Okay, for this negative battery terminal, it's got this clip down here. So I'm just going to yank that out of there. So now that that's out, I've got plenty of slack on this. It'll come right up. Then I can hook that back up. I'm still probably going to shorten this. Got this weird pipe hanger that I actually still might use. So let's see if that works. Okay, so I bent this bracket up a little bit. It should fit now. Then I'm just going to use the screw that came out of that spot to hold the air in, the original stock intake in. I'm just going to use that to put this thing in. I'm just going to take This, I had to unbend it so it would be long enough to reach that hole. You know, I'm going to try to rebend the rest around it. And I'm probably just going to kind of hammer it around and hope that works. That just kind of clips right around there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright, that's all in place. Yeah, I'll rotate this down and zip tie it to this. Cool. So I got that zip tied right there. I'm going to just cut that. But that's not going anywhere. That's good, all solid. I mean, I actually have a ton more space in here now, so I could put a hand in there, you know? Looks pretty cool, I think. And I know I've said this a whole bunch of times. The valve cover's coming up. I'm going to do the valve cover. I have everything to do it. I just haven't had enough time because I know it's going to take me at least a full day. Just because I have to wait for paint to dry and stuff. Like, I was away in Canada a few weekends ago. I have a video about with that. We actually took my car up there. And that'll be up shortly. But yeah, that's the cold air intake. Finally done. I've been waiting, you know, a long time for that filter to get here. And K&N screwed me over, so screw you, K&N. I got the Spectre one instead. Hopefully it's just as good. Alright, I'm gonna give it a little rip, see how it sounds. Oh dude, that sounds way better. That sounds sick, dude. Oh my god.